Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me okay? What's up, Cyber? Happy Father's Day. Happy Sunday. What's going on, Mark? Thank you. Happy Father's Day to all of you fathers. Yep, we went out to breakfast this morning, Mark. I had me a carne asada breakfast burrito and a cold brew with a little bit of vanilla syrup. Kids are on vacation with their grandma, so we're just going to hang out and chill. Good to see you, Mustang. She Warrior, happy Father's Day to all of you. Beth, good to see you. All the Sleuth Crew dads. Wife Lilith, thanks, says happy Father's Day and dropping a super chat. Hell yeah. Appreciate that. It's a good way to start the stream. Happy Father's Day, Mark. And remember, it's not Dad's Day. It's Father's Day. Anybody could be a dad. What's up, Scott? How you doing? Okay, so right before the stream, I kind of... Hold on, let me turn this down a little bit. I was a little bit curious to when Father's Day originated, or when it originated. So here, let me read you what I found. Father's Day originated in the United States in the early 20th century, inspired by the establishment of Mother's Day. The idea is credited to Sonora Smart Dodd. It's kind of a weird name. It sounds like a business, but her name is Sonora Smart, and then she married into Dodd, who wanted to honor her father, William Jackson Smart, a Civil War veteran who raised 6 children alone after his wife's death. Dodd proposed the holiday in 1909 in Spokane, Washington, suggesting it be celebrated on her father's birthday, June 5th. However, the first Father's Day was observed on June 19th, 1910, after local leaders chose the third Sunday in June for convenience. The concept spread slowly. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson acknowledged it, and President Calvin Coolidge urged states to observe it in 1924. But it wasn't until 1966 that President Lyndon B. Johnson issued a proclamation designating the third Sunday in June as Father's Day. It became a permanent national holiday in 1972 when President Richard Nixon signed it into law. Thought that was interesting. How's your weekend been, Beth? Kelly O, thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the Sleuth Crew fathers. Oh, take out the wife. Oh, I got you. Now I get it. It's still funny. It's like, yeah, it's Father's Day, but you better take her out. That's kind of what happened this morning. Yeah, because the truth is men are the romantics in the world. And women just, they exploit that. And men don't want to admit it. But I believe it's the men of the world who are romantic. Yeah, that's true, Scott. All the Hallmark stuff, holidays and whatnot. Still fun though, but you're right. Keep the slaves busy. I mean, it's really what we all are on this planet, right? Sometimes it feels that way. Mine's been perfect, Beth. Um, I have a hose that went to my garden that exploded yesterday and flooded the whole side of my house. That's how hot it gets here. You know, when you start hitting 105, things start to fall apart. I think it's just part of our DNA, you know, trying to woo the woman. You know, kind of like those birds that do like the mating dance. They stick their wings out and they kind of pop their shoulders up. Yeah, thanks, Mark. If you guys can't hit the Cash App, hit the like button. Alrighty, we'll kill that. So what has everybody been up to? Are you like me and you're paranoid about the Israel-Iran situation? And then you have the No Kings protests across the United States. Interesting times we live in. She Warrior says yes. Yes on the Israel-Iran thing. Scott says it's definitely escalating. And Scott, that's why Israel is so important to America, right? That's why Ukraine is important to America. But you can't let these countries get out of control. You know what I mean? Germany wasn't a big country, and look what Hitler was able to do. He almost took over the damn world by force. So by having Israel in the Middle East, we kind of have a Western presence. It's really a military presence disguised as like some kind of a religious movement. You know, let my people go. Phil Bond, what's up? Happy Father's Day. And all the rest of the dads out there. Yep, big shout out to the Sleuth Crew dads. Or really, should I say the Sleuth Crew fathers? Guess there could be a difference, right? Some mothers are fathers. Some stepdads are fathers. Scott. Same with the UK. They are our allies too. Yeah, to be honest, Israel is really just a U.S. base, military base with nuclear bombs. But yeah, it looks like Israel got hit pretty hard. I was watching videos this morning on X, and they were showing the destruction in Tel Aviv. These huge apartment buildings were just destroyed. And they had the gall to kind of cry about it. Like, you see what they do? Israel targets military bases. And look what Iran does. They target civilians. And then the whole time I'm listening to this, I just have these images flashing in my mind of what happened in Palestine. I'm like, what the fuck? It's not like we can judge, right? We killed over 1 million Iraqis. Over 1 million people because of a lie. So if we're going to criticize anybody, we need to start criticizing ourselves first. You know, it starts at home. Same pile of shit, different necktie. And that goes for Trump too, most likely, you know. Keep us all divided. Stepdads and adoptive dads out there. Yeah, happy Father's Day. There's a lot of dads out there that don't even know their children. Just a sperm donor. Yep, exactly. Divide and conquer. It's like mental chains. You know, if you take away our vision and our imagination and our will, we won't, because you have to believe something before it happens. It's like manifest destiny, right? You have this vision, this goal, and then you make decisions and moves and you accept things and you make different decisions based on your strategy to get to that goal. But if you've lost all will, you're no longer setting goals and you're not driven. So that's what they're doing to us. They're like dumbing us down, breaking us down so that we don't set goals, future goals. Take care, wife. Shout out to wife Lilith sponsoring today and shouting out all the fathers. Appreciate that. She warrior. I believe that the Israel and Iran conflict, it's a sign of the end times. It feels like it. I mean, it goes back to Atlantis. We look at the pyramids, we're like, what the hell is this? It's like some kind of residual nightmare that mankind goes through. We build ourselves up technologically and then completely almost destroy civilization, right? Right to the brink of total annihilation. And all that's left is like a few nomads, right? Who are able to hide in some bunkers or lucked out. And they're left to repopulate Earth, the caveman, so to speak. And he's passing on stories of the technology and what the world was once was. And then over time, it's just the game of telephone. And then here we are, back at the height of basically Skynet from the movie Terminator is where we are. It's kind of scary to know that we have the ability to completely destroy the planet. The apocalypse, Armageddon. I don't know. I feel like some people want to create such destruction that it will bring on the end times. They're like, well, we can't sit around and wait. We'll just make it happen. If we start dropping all these nuclear bombs on each other, it'll bring back Christ, or it'll bring Christ, right? For the Jewish people, Jesus is not Christ. They're still waiting for Christ. And it feels like they're trying to force him to come. The Messiah, right? Cyber, my dad and I are going to eat at IHOP later. I like IHOP. Their biscuits and gravy are good. Some IHOPs here in Phoenix serve mimosas too, which is good. I'm trying to get back in shape, so no mimosas for me. Beth says, normally all these world events would have my anxiety through the roof. It's hard to explain how my faith in God has grown so much over the years that I'm now strangely calm. Well, it's because it's no longer a faith. It's just something that's been confirmed. That power. It was funny. I was thinking about that in bed this morning, like how powerful just the name Jesus is. Like, even if you're not a believer or a Christian or whatever, even just in the time of need, just saying that name, just the power that it brings, it's crazy. And it's possible that it's a placebo. The mind is a very tricky muscle or organ. So you never know, but anytime I felt like I was under some kind of a spiritual attack, that's where I go. That's my shield right there. And it never fails. I feel redeemed. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of blueberry pancakes. A little bit of strawberries, maybe a little bit of whipped cream. Yeah, it's crazy because I did go through all my phases too, Beth. I went through where I was like dabbling in the occult real young, kind of like the West Memphis guys, looking, dabbling in Aleister Crowley stuff. And then I went into more religion, not really a relationship with God, but more just the whole religious side. That didn't work. And then I was kind of living like a Rastafarian type lifestyle, the whole Selassie, and I was vegan, and to me, I felt like at that point I had gone too far and I had become radicalized. So I had to get control of what, the philosophy of it all. But there was no real like relationship between me and God. So I'm glad that I was able to find that. Once you sort through the ego, it's much easier. So start there. So when I see atheists and agnostic people or even satanic people, because most people who are Satanists, really they're just rebelling against the idea of religion, which is okay, but they've gone too far in the opposite direction. Because by no means am I a fan of religion at all. Scott says I'm atheist. Yeah, at one point I was atheist, agnostic. It's been quite the journey. But I'm right at home, and I've been here for quite some time. Because when you have that spiritual help, you're not alone. You kind of it feels like you have this backup with you, at all times, and it's the biggest, baddest backup of them all. You brought the biggest bodyguard, to the party, who isn't afraid to snap a neck of some wicked demon, that's trying to corrupt your soul, which is what it's all about. People trying to steal your love. Scott, I'm not a Satanist. I don't believe in the devil. Yeah, definitely if you're an atheist, right? You're basically saying either you need proof or you're taking the ego away in another way, saying, who am I to say if there's a God or not? Which is also almost the purest form of Christianity, right? As long as you're not a Satanist and you're living a righteous life and you're not really praising any other gods and you're just doing, you're doing your will. I say that's better than being like a fake Christian, You go around acting like you're Christian, but living like a sinner's lifestyle, like a hypocrite. Serving two masters is what they call it. What's up, CJK? Happy Father's Day to the dads. Or to the fathers, right? But most of you fathers are dads. But some dads aren't fathers. Scott's like, true, I guess. Yeah, as long as I don't hurt anyone else. Exactly. As long as you're not being an atheist to spite what you know deep down is the truth, then that in itself is a form of Satanism or rebellion. We're having ribs, rotisserie chicken, beans, twice baked potato casserole. Ooh, you're going big today. I think I skipped you, Julia. How you doing? Placebo or not, it has worked for me. I completely agree. Anytime I've asked for Jesus' help, it's truly worked. Absolutely, without fail. It has never failed me. I don't know what my exact beliefs are, but when I've been at my lowest, it's helped. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. You don't have to be a Christian. You can be an atheist, but if you ever feel like there's just something coming at you, because you can feel it when somebody's kind of put the hex out on you, or when the hex is just on you, you can feel it. Just try it. I mean, think about it. We're just floating around on this rock that's been here for so long with so much history, and we've been completely dumbed down that we're not in touch with of any of it anymore, any of the magic of it all. We've lost touch. Different dimensions. For all we know, we could have all kinds of weird creatures just staring at us, right? Standing right next to us, just looking at us. Through the veil. Scott says if it brings people comfort, I'm all for it as long as I don't force their beliefs onto me. Yes. And religion tends to do that. You know, there's not really a godly feel about religion. You know, I feel like God gets lost in the mob. I think the devil is at home in the mob. I think the devil is responsible for the mob. And I'm not really referring to the angry mob, like a angry protest or anything like that. I just mean like the overall mob, the consensus. You know, if you're not with that consensus, you could be shunned, outcasted. J Ray. Hexagon. More like hexagon. Am I right? Good one. Hi, Bear Nation. What up? What up? What up? Jerry says, but I'm aware it's helpful to many people. Doesn't bother me. But I always think it's funny, like the way people always talk about people that talk about God. And I'm not talking about Bible thumpers. I'm just anybody that's being spiritual and talks about the power of God. People who are atheists, they always kind of talk about it like that. Oh, if you want to have a placebo in your life, if it makes you, if you need to believe in some weird wizard in the sky, by all means, if that makes you happy. It's very condescending. Not that they even realize it, but that's ultimately the profile of an atheist, right? They're at a point in their journey where they got it all figured out. They got this. Oh, you're a Satanist? Hindu, Buddhist, Theist, Jewish, Muslim. What else is there? Sikh. Oh, agnostic, maybe? Are you into Thelema? Saturnology? Are you in the Hale-Bopp Comet cult? Oh yeah, Scientology. How can you forget Scientologist? Easy, Tom Cruise. Easy. No shoes on the sofa. No shoes on the sofa. Oh yeah. L. Ron. L. Ron Hubbard. Good old Ron. Good old Ronnie. Ronnie boy. Him, Jack Parsons, and Aleister Crowley. Man, they were like the three amigos. That's funny. Yeah, I guess they do target upper wealth, upper class. Oh, Julia Nexium. Nexium, the cult. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Let's pull that up. You had me all you had me at L. Ron Hubbard. Then it got me into Jack Parsons and the Babylon Working. You guys ever heard of that? It's a series of magical rituals aimed at invoking Thelemic goddess Babylon in early 1946. They believe that that's why they created the nuclear bomb, was for this ritual. Nexium. Who is that? Keith and Nancy? Let me see if there's any videos on these freaks. Freakazoids. Oh shit, says she was released from prison in 2023. Oh man. Yeah, people are like, what the Babylon working? Let's see. Here's a little tidbit. L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons had a complex and controversial relationship in the mid 1940s, centered around their involvement in the occult and a business venture that ended in betrayal. Jack Parsons was a pioneering rocket scientist who ultimately blew himself up, by the way, co founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, and a dedicated occultist, deeply involved in Aleister Crowley's Thelema religion and the Ordo Templi Orientis, or the OTO, in Pasadena, California. A lot of missing children around that area. L. Ron Hubbard, a science fiction writer and Navy veteran, arrived at Parsons' Pasadena mansion known as the Parsonage in August of 1945. The Parsonage was a bohemian commune hosting artists, scientists, and occultists. Parsons admired Hubbard's charisma and claimed he had an intuitive grasp of magic, describing him as the most thelemic person he'd met. In early 1946, Parsons and Hubbard collaborated on the Babylon Working, a series of magical rituals aimed at invoking the Thelemic goddess Babylon. So maybe that's what we're witnessing. Also, I think Aleister Crowley was associated with the Loch Ness Monster. I know he owned property on Lake Loch Ness. Maybe he's the one that invoked this creature. From the pits of Mordor. Now I'm going to go watch Lord of the Rings. Oh, Allison Mack. Oh, that isn't that an old Nickelodeon show? I used to love that shit. Where she could like liquefy and creep underneath the door. That shit was cool. Jack Parcells. Bulimic goddess. Oh shit. Good one. Hey, Sensei. Happy Father's Day to all the Sleuth Crew fathers. Yep, join a cult. I mean, if you're in Hollywood making movies, you are in a cult. That is the cult. Badge of honor. Yep, Alistair conjured the Loch Ness Monster 100%. Seems like it. Allison Mack was one of the uppers in Nexium. Rock bottom, rock bottom. Yeah, he has property right there on Loch Ness. People go there to do a lot of ghost hunting and shit like that. Tony, what's up? Okay, Babylon in Thelema. Babylon is a central figure in Thelema, a spiritual philosophy developed by Aleister Crowley in the early 20th century. She is a goddess archetype, often described as the sacred whore or scarlet woman, embodying divine femininity, sexual liberation, and spiritual transformation. Her name derives from the biblical whore of Babylon in the book of Revelation, reinterpreted by Crowley as a symbol of empowerment and cosmic balance. Kind of reminds me of Shiva. There's a statue of Shiva outside of CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, which is very interesting. Okay, 1946, Jack Parsons, a devoted Thelemite and leader of the Agape Lodge of the OTO in Pasadena, California, collaborated with L. Ron Hubbard on the Babylon Working, a series of rituals to invoke Babylon. Parsons believed this would manifest a moon child, and these guys must have been doing acid, or divine feminine figure to usher in a new spiritual era, countering the destructive forces of post-World War II world. The rituals conducted between January and March 1946 invoked Enochian magic. I don't know if that's related to Enoch. I don't know if you guys know anything about the Watchers and the Book of Enoch. Go check that out. Crowley's system of angelic invocations and sexual rites. Parsons acted as primary magician while Hubbard served as the scribe. Channeling visions and invocations, Parsons believed the ritual succeeded with Marjorie Cameron, a red-headed artist, arrived at his parsonage commune, interpreted her as the embodiment of Babylon. So don't show up at anybody's house when they're doing a ritual. They'll be like, "Hey, there it is. I told you it worked." Did anybody order a pizza? Oh, yes, we did. You better believe we did. By the way, you're Babylon. Baba what? Baba who? What's going on? Karen Hick. Let's look that up. Crowley and Loch Ness. Nessie. It gets messy when it comes to Nessie. Okay, so it's the Boleskine House. Aleister Crowley, the influential Thelemite and occultist, has a documented connection to Loch Ness through his ownership of the Boleskine House, a manor on the southeastern shore of Loch Ness from 1899 to 1913. Crowley purchased Boleskine to perform the Abramelin operation, a complex ritual from the Book of Abramelin aimed at contacting one's holy guardian angel. The house's isolated location and alignment with specific magical requirements made it ideal for Crowley's work. He conducted various rituals there, including Thelemic, ceremonial magic, which he claimed involved summoning spirits or entities. Right? He summoned some weird monster. Local folklore and later speculation link Crowley's activities at Boleskine to supernatural phenomena, including the Loch Ness Monster. Some claim his rituals awakened or summoned something in the loch, contributing to the monster legend. However, Nessie sightings predate Crowley's time at Boleskine, with reports as early as the 6th century. Maybe that's why he chose the location. He's like, oh, there were sightings of a mysterious creature there. It must be like some kind of a portal. You know, some people believe that there can be even like wormholes to the past in certain parts of the world, just based, off of naturally occurring things that just fall perfectly in line and create like a time machine. I don't know how real that is, but it's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle, right? All these planes and things happening. Maybe they're going through some wormhole, popping out on the other side and seeing a T-Rex or something running around. Was he a victim of... Oh, now you're getting crazy. So now we're going to go from the Montauk to the Philadelphia Project. I like it. Okay, so what is the Montauk Project? It's a conspiracy theory alleging that the U.S. government conducted secret experiments at Camp Hero, or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, Long Island, New York, primarily from 1970s to 1983. These experiments supposedly involved psychological warfare, mind control, time travel, teleportation, extraterrestrial contact, interdimensional portals, buildings on the alleged 1943 Philadelphia experiment, BAM, where the USS Eldridge was reportedly rendered invisible or teleported. The theory claims the project used kidnapped children and adults, subjected them to torture, and employed advanced technology, sometimes with Nazi scientists recruited via Operation Paperclip. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, but all of the scientists, mathematicians, anybody worth a damn from Germany after World War II were brought over. And that's basically what NASA is. Through Project Paperclip. Yeah, Germany was well on their way to building an atomic bomb. Man, things would have been so different, right? They were the first to kind of develop rockets. All they would need to do is put a nuclear bomb on one of those rockets and it's over. Babdock. Bohemian Grove. Moloch. Cremation of Care. Let's see, Bohemian Grove and the Cremation of Care. What about Skull and Bones? 322. Bohemian Grove is a private men-only retreat spanning 2,700 acres in Monterey, California, owned by Bohemian Club, a San Francisco-based elite social club founded in 1872. The Cremation of Care ceremony. Cremation of Care is the Grove's signature opening ritual, performed since at least the 1880s. It's a theatrical ceremony held at the base of 40-foot stone owl statue by a lake, symbolizing wisdom or Moloch. The ritual involves robed figures led by a high priest, burning an effigy called dual care, representing worldly worries. What I think it really represents is this is the Illuminati, and it's the cremation of care. Basically, all of the evil and wicked things that they've done, they're just going to let it go. It doesn't matter. We're going to cremate that guilt and all that care for all of the evil that we've done. This is our ceremony to just let it go. We're all going to agree on that, okay? Jerry, woohoo, motherfuckers. We're all in this together. Yeah, Johnny Gosh, we've covered that case a few times. I have a whole folder on him. And I'm part of a Facebook group with his mom, Noreen. So I've talked to her a few times. She's pretty open. Let's see. Here's a video. I don't think I can play this. I think I got copyright struck for that. But there's a video if you guys want to watch it out there with Noreen, Johnny Gosh's mother, and she goes and visits Drew Collins. And talks to him about the Evansdale case. Jerry, it's pretty obvious what happened to him, in my opinion, but it's wild. Well, according to Noreen, he came back, remember? He showed up sometime later and visited with her. Oh, here it is. We can play that.
Nebraska prison inmate Paul Benassi comes forward with a startling claim that a network of pedophiles forced him to help abduct Johnny Gosh. Benassi was serving time for sexual assault on a child. West Des Moines police never did question Benassi on their own.
Noreen Gosh was called to testify in his 1999 trial. And that's when she made a bombshell claim of her own that Johnny visited her in her home 2 years earlier for about an hour.
He told me how he was kidnapped. At first, he was so drugged that he didn't know where he was at, but he could then relate some of the names of the people that were around him, that he was able to latch on to names. He told me how they traveled all over the country. They were used for pornography, prostitution, compromising businessmen and politicians sexually. These kids were used in a royal fashion like none of us would
Sounds
ever
like
dream
P.
of.
Diddy.
A West Des Moines police officer said that Noreen
Epstein.
had told similar stories before, only to recant them later. There were never any witnesses that verified her claim.
John Gosh, who
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that. I hate when I open that up. Well, since I have it open, I might as well just play it.
You want high-performance, long-lasting, affordable tools.
With the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
He's all, well, then fuck
Public
you.
officials going in there.
You
Don't
took-
we deserve to know?
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film, and you did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them
Yes,
up after.
Oh, I'm
I just
sorry.
walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
That shit's crazy.
Sir, everything I don't owe you this comment.
I know.
Miss Dog Lover.
This is what's called ambush.
Happy Father's Day to
and
your
I disrespect you for that
to
as
your
well,
old
so
man.
Thank
You
you
ever
and
been
goodbye.
in the ritual?
It's none of your damn business.
None of your damn business.
Right. Listen. You go around and make understandings with people and violate them.
Ambush journalism.
You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice that, that's fine, but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest of us to say, "Oh well, you're."
there, Mr. Gergen.
I'm sorry, nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen, and obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders come out here.
Oh,
Yeah, that is.
yeah, I love Alex Jones. Pioneer, baby. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. Can you please say Happy Father's Day, George? Yes. Happy Father's Day, George. You rock. You got an awesome daughter. So you must be an awesome father. Takes one to make one, right? He was just doing journalism. But he's not being genuine, gentlemanly. This is ambush journalism. Yay, George. Shout out to George. Happy Father's Day to George. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I just wanted to give you a quick hour. Make sure I holler at you. We will be going live with some true crime content later today. So be there or be square.